And unless they share that and purify us and enlighten, sometimes devotees say, I'm just trying to develop my faith. Right? It's like the man who has no money in his pocket and he's sitting there and he's like, I'm just trying to figure out how to improve my economic situation. It means something from outside has to come inside, isn't it? Something has to be given to us to then be able to receive it. So same with the faith. Prabhupada says that this faith is the most important thing. And faith, it's not a question of belief, it's a question because beliefs can change. I believe this today, I don't believe that tomorrow. But faith, real faith, from absolute point of view, is eternal. And unless Krishna comes and showers mercy on us and purifies us, we cannot hear him. And we cannot receive faith from Krishna or from Krishna's devotees. So in order to receive faith, then we have to be able to hear properly. But we have a hearing problem. So we're hearing our mad minds, our speculation, every thought, every feeling, every emotion. We're only tuned into that. And because of this bodily conception, false ego platform, under modes of material nature, we're not able to hear transcendental sound vibration. And Krishna says, to show special mercy, he may purify internally from Chaitaguru Antayami, he may purify intelligence, mind and senses enough that we can begin to develop faith in Krishna. That Krishna, the Lord, is within the heart, and that we are not products of material nature. We are souls, we are eternal souls, and ultimately we're servants of God, servants of Krishna, and we're meant to serve Krishna. So that is the development of faith coming from Krishna. First mercy is Krishna, then second mercy is the Sadhu Guru Vaishnava, mercy that is required. So we can read a little bit, discuss further. Pray for me. I'll pray for you. So Srila Prabhupada was speaking in Bhagavad Gita 4.1, chapter 4.1, February 7, 1974, in Vrindavan. And there's some really nice, I was reading this morning, this class, and some really nice points came out of it. It's a long class, so I'm just picking some parts of it in order to allow you the ability to focus for the short time that you can. And we'll see how that goes. And that verse in Bhagavad Gita 4.1, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Imam Vivasvate Yogam Yoktavan Aham Avyayam. Vivasvan Manave Praha Manua Ikshvakave Bravit. The Blessed Lord Krishna said that I have instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasvan. And Vivasvan, he instructed it to Manu, who is the father of mankind. And then Manu, in turn, instructed it to Ikshvaku. Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada is explaining here that anything attempting to understand the absolute truth, if we're trying to understand the absolute truth, what is God, what is the soul, what is our connection or relationship to God, anything about trying to understand transcendental absolute truth, Prabhupada said that is called the yoga. There's a yoga system. So really yoga means bhakti yoga. That's a definition, right, where you say yoga. And everyone has a different conception of yoga. But really yoga means to realize the soul, to realize Krishna, that He's Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Sanatana Dharma means we have an eternal loving relationship with Krishna. And with that understanding, we are agreeing to surrender to serve Krishna. That is yoga. That is bhakti yoga. So again, what type of yoga are we talking about? Krishna said, out of all the yogis, those who are doing this bhakti, the Sanatana Dharma means bhakti, they are real yogis. They understand the point and the purpose of the yoga system. So anytime Prabhupada says that we're trying to understand absolute truth, that is yoga. That's the yoga system. And bhakti, Bhagavad Gita is bhakti yoga. So this is a conversation between the Lord and His devotee. So Arjuna, His devotee, and Krishna, He's Bhagavan, He's Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when there is this type of serious conversation between the devotee and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, then what should be the subject matter of such a conversation? So when Krishna comes with his devotee and they're having a conversation, then what is the subject matter that is part of that conversation? Prabhupada says, suppose a big businessman is talking with his secretary seriously. So can anyone suggest what the subject matter of that conversation will be? Of course, it must be about business. When a big businessman talking with his business secretary, what should be that subject matter of the talking? Obviously, it's business. Similarly, bhakti means a transaction, or conversation and transaction between the Lord and His devotee. So bhakti is the dealings between the Lord and His devotees. And that bhakti is sambandha, abhideya, prayojana. So that sambandha means established relationship. We a little bit talked about that this morning. By the mercy of Guru and Krishna, Krishna agrees, and we also agree, to enter into that agreement based on loving transcendental service. Abhideya is what is the process of purifying and qualifying ourselves, and what is the specific activity or the nature of that service, which is coming from what Krishna is asking us to do, and are agreeing to cooperate with that. And ultimately that should be done in prayojana, prem bhakti. That's the perfection of that activity, means a loving devotional service. So that's the summum bonum of bhakti, right? So that subject matter between the Lord and His devotee is based on these dealings and this conversation. This is the transaction. Prabhupada calls it a transaction. This is the transaction between the Lord and His devotee. Now the Lord is doing this with His devotees in the spiritual world. He doesn't have to come here to have this meeting, right? Someone was asking, I told my parents I was having a meeting, right? But then he ended up in Mayapur. So parents were thinking he was lying. So he had a meeting, he was having a transaction, he was having a conversation, but it was with Krishna and Krishna's devotees. So not really lying. Just different type of transaction, I suppose. So the whole Vedic system, as propounded by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is sambandha, abhideya, and prayojana. So you talk about Vedic system, means bhakti, means Sanatana Dharma, means relationship with Krishna, rendering service in a mood of loving devotional service. That is the sum total and purpose of the whole Vedic system. Today somehow I was thinking that there's no Vedas in the spiritual world. They're not studying the Vedas. Right? This is for the conditioned souls who are trying to purify and qualify themselves to understand how to get to the spiritual world. Right? What is the purpose? What is the means? What is the goal? But in the spiritual world, they've already captured all of that. They already understand all of that. They're not sitting around reading the Vedas and reading the scriptures. They're just fully engaged in the purpose of the scriptures. Isn't it? Krishna says, by all the Vedas, I am to be known. So once you know Krishna, you surrender to Krishna, we serve Krishna nicely, there's no real need of the Vedas. So it's like a crutch, it's a stepping stone to come to the actual understanding, because we're prone to misunderstanding, we're prone to making mistakes or misunderstanding, so that crutch is there to keep us in line so that we're moving in right direction, so that we don't go off in different ways because of our lack of maturity or understanding. Once you reach that goal, then you've achieved the purpose of the whole Vedic system, and the purpose of the Vedas is to deliver that truth to conditioned souls. So that Vedic system, which was being propounded by the Lord himself, by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's a Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. Devaki, you have that chada?
It's over there.
Oh. Then Prabhupada quoting from Bhagavad Gita 15:15, that Krishna says, I'm seated in everyone's heart. From me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Krishna says, by all the Vedas, I am to be known. I am the compiler of the Vedanta. I am the knower of the Vedas. So Prabhupada said that the Vedic subject matter is to understand Krishna. And then who understands Krishna? Who can understand Krishna? Prabhupada quotes that out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So by karma, jnana, yoga, you may be perfected from that point of view, but still not know Krishna. So out of all those who have perfected karma, jnana, and yoga, they still don't know Krishna. So when we say we have no karma, no jnana, no yoga, it means don't know how to practice or achieve any of the results of karma, jnana, and yoga. What to speak about bhakti? So what is our position? This is saying those who have achieved perfection in those karma, jnana, and yoga, even they don't know Krishna. So we're thinking we know Krishna without even understanding what is karma, jnana, and yoga, what to speak of reaching perfection of that. And then even out of that perfectional stage, even hardly one of hundreds of thousands of millions who are perfected in those systems, even they don't know Krishna. So we think by ourselves we're going to just do some sadhana and understand Krishna in Kali Yuga. Understand what's the reality. My Gurudev, many times he's talking about what is adhika, what is your actual qualification. Because pride and sentimentality, we're overestimating our qualification. And we are assuming, based on that false ego, based on that sentiment and feeling platform, that we've achieved and that we've advanced way more than we actually have. And in some cases, we haven't even really started, but still we think we're quite far along in the path, just by the power of mental speculation, pride and arrogance, thinking that we're very smart, very capable, very strong, or we just feel it in our hearts and our emotions. So this combination of pride and arrogance and sentimentality is a deadly combo. Deadly combo. You see, in India, you have you're hearing about Krishna from your birth, right? You may have some good intelligence, some good opportunity, and then you put that, we become a little puffed up. No, I'm born here, in Holy Dham, the Bharatavash. We're worshipping Krishna from the childhood. We're hearing, and they're asking us, when did you come? How well when you finally came? So the problem with that is then we become a little puffed up, right? And then if you have some also material qualification, material intelligence, then this naturally this pride, arrogance, conceited nature comes. And all of that pride, arrogance is actually a demoniac quality under modes of material nature. And it says it makes you blind. So we're blind to the reality of our actual position. And then you bring in this sentimental, emotional feeling. Oh, I love Krishna. Right, we met this man in Nepal, right? I'm just coming, I'm Brijabasi. He's telling. I said, what are you doing in Kathmandu? No, I'm just following this crazy guy with the mustache. I love Krishna. So you see, whenever you have this combo of a pride and there's a sentimentality, this will seriously block us from understanding what is the reality of our position. And that's why the science is so much important to understand from Krishna and Guru Sadhu Shastra, a scientific approach. Then we can begin to understand it more from a technical scientific point of view rather than a speculative or sentimental point of view. So Prabhupada says here that to really understand Krishna or God, it is not very easy subject matter. Out of many millions of human beings, hardly one may be even trying for perfection of life. Prabhupada said hardly, not at all, especially in the Kali Yuga. There are millions and millions of people all over the world, but some of them, they come to Vrindavan to achieve perfection. Prabhupada said, so that's a fact. They have this in their mind. Let's go to Vrindavan, try to become perfect. But it's not that everyone is very eager at all to try to make his life perfect. And of course that means spiritual perfection, not materialistic perfection. Everyone instead is working hard day and night like an ass, working very, very hard like asses and dogs, how to get money, more and more money, how to get sense gratification, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. This is their business. So out of many such persons, Prabhupada says we've traveled all over the world, all over the Western countries. They're only busy for this purpose, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. That's all. So out of many, many millions of such persons, try to understand how many of them will try to really understand what is the value of life and how to make your life perfect from spiritual point of view. So Prabhupada is saying that people will build hospitals, they'll do charitable works, they'll try to perform different yagyas, they'll open schools and colleges and hospitals, they'll try to do pious activities. These are all karmis. They're trying to cultivate execute pious activities. They want to try to somehow, according to the direction of the Vedas, try to achieve higher and higher standing of life. That is karmis. And then the vikarmis, that rejecting all type of Vedic instruction. So out of many millions and millions of such karmis, one becomes a jnani. And the jnani means one who has understood the spiritual position. He is a jnani. And that is his perfection or siddhi. And out of those jnanis, some of them are yogis. And they're trying for these eightfold mystic yogic perfections, right? Trying to elevate themselves to higher planetary systems through karma or yoga, trying to develop some type of mystic shaktis or perfections. And out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. This is trying to put everything into perspective. So these are persons who are going through the Vedic system up to karma, jnana, yoga, and then maybe someone who achieves perfection in all of those other systems may come to the platform of bhakti. So that's why when we say in the Kali Yuga, there's no karma, no jnana, no yoga, no bhakti. We have no actual practice or perfection of that practice, so we have no qualification whatsoever. So how are we thinking, and how will we achieve an understanding of absolute truth, or to be able to understand Krishna? It puts it in perspective, that it's not going to come by the power of our work or mental speculation or sadhana or any other type of thing that we can do that is consistent with any of those other systems of mentioned in the Vedic system. Those who have achieved perfection in karma, karma-kanda, jnana-kanda, yoga practice, mystic art, still they don't know Krishna. And out of many of them who have achieved perfection, millions of them, only one can understand Krishna. So if we're sitting in a tamagun and rajagun with no karma, jnana, yoga or bhakti, how are we claiming and thinking that we know Krishna? Oh, we're devotees. So we're assuming a lot. If we understand that all of that means we didn't actually start spiritual life, then we can understand, okay, now what should we do? If we're not convinced of that, we won't give any of that up. We'll just keep going in that same way, and we'll be misdirected by material energy, and we won't even really know it, because we're deaf, dumb, and blind, and the pride and arrogance and the sentimentality that tells us we are devotees, we love Krishna. We're already assuming all of these platforms. And then the real question is, have we actually been accepted by Krishna in this sambandha, has that eternal loving relationship finally been reconnected? Has Krishna made that arrangement through his devotee to accept us in that relationship? Or are we just assuming that's a done deal? That's already been done, it's already been achieved. Now we're offering with loving devotion. Right? So we're assuming a lot. And why? Because we're not understanding properly the science. We're not understanding, from a Tattva-vichar point of view. And therefore we're being misdirected. We're misunderstanding so many of the things because we're not heard authoritative scientific instruction from Krishna, Krishna Parampara, Guru Sadhu and Shastra. We've not heard and understood properly. So to understand Krishna, Prabhupada's saying here, it's not at all easy thing. Krishna's giving us a process. We don't even really have faith and understand the process. But then we're just assuming like we're already connected, we're already doing devotional service, Krishna's already accepting everything, we already have bhakti. So I want to try to make it real. I think I'm talking too much. That's my only service, really, actually. So to understand Krishna is not an easy thing. Krishna can be understood by the mercy of Krishna. Not by karma-kanda, not by jnana-kanda, not by yoga-kanda, not by upasana-kanda, not by any of these other means or processes can you understand Krishna. Krishna says himself, Bhakti Mama Bhajanati, only by pure loving devotional service, when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord, by such devotion, only he can enter into the kingdom of God. Krishna never, Prabhupada says, Krishna never said one can understand me by practicing karma-kanda, jnana-kanda, or mystic yoga practice. Krishna never, ever will say like that. So Bhagavad Gita is the knowledge directly from the Lord himself by which you can understand Krishna. So only by Krishna's mercy can we understand. Krishna says, I'm in the heart of every living entity. And from me comes knowledge, intelligence, and remembrance. Krishna says, if you want to surrender and serve me in a mood of loving devotion, I'll give you the understanding, the means, how you can approach me, how you can understand me, how you can achieve me. You have hot tea. Prabhupada says the word anta atmana means within the core of the heart. Who has accepted Krishna only to think of in the core of the heart. So sometimes devotees, they'll say, you know, oh, you're talking, it's so sentimental, you're talking about, you know, Krishna's in the heart, and they're taking it as some kind of sentimental, materialistic, you know, conception or understanding. Especially the jnanis, right? They say, oh, these people are very sentimental, right? But actually, if you're connecting with Krishna within the heart, he's the source of all knowledge and intelligence. So it's not just, oh, I'm just loving Krishna in my heart. It means connecting to Krishna in loving devotional service, and Krishna giving intelligence and faith and understanding how and what to do. Otherwise, how can we be proper servants? Right? If you have a servant who's sincere but has no idea what to do, then the master has to tell him exactly what to do. Right? He's sincere, he wants to surrender, he wants to serve, he wants to please you, but he has no idea what to do. So then you have to tell him what to do. And then if he's a good person and a good possible servant, then he'll just listen and then he'll just execute it. It says a first-class servant, he automatically knows what to do. Right? Second class means he doesn't know what to do, but you have to tell him what to do, and then he just does it. And then third class means you tell him what to do, and sometimes he does, and sometimes he doesn't do. Right? And the fourth class means really, not even really servant. Right? Prabhupada says like that. Gurudev says like that. So what kind of servant are we? And if we're third or fourth class, how much mercy are we getting from Krishna and Sadhguru Vaishnava in order to qualify ourselves to understand further? So here Prabhupada's talking about where Krishna says the person is always keeping me always within the core of the heart. And you say, well, Krishna's in the heart of everybody. Why is that a big deal? Right? But are you having relationship and communicating and surrendering and trying to please and having an interaction and conversation and trying to keep in some loving devotional mood and sentiment, or are you just saying, oh, Paramatma's in everyone's heart? A person who's keeping me always within the core of the heart, that's based on the priti, it's based on loving devotion. And the best example, Prabhupada says, are you liking this conversation?
Yes.
Yes. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Can you understand me?
Yes.
Really? Okay. I'm just trying to get mercy. My Gurudev asked me to help the devotees and help yourself and purify yourself at the same time. That's all I'm trying to do. I need mercy as much as you need mercy. So if I meet you and I try my best to explain everything in a simple, honest, straightforward way, I feel my Gurudev is pleased with me, Prabhupada is pleased with me, then I feel much benefit and reciprocation. So you're coming and trying to hear gives me opportunity also to get mercy, so I appreciate it very much. The best example are the gopis. They had no other business than to keep Krishna always within the heart. Gopis requested Krishna, please, if you get out from our hearts, then we'll be able to concentrate better on our household duties. So they were feeling they were slacking in their household duties because they were distracted by Krishna. Now that's a really determined householder, right? Krishna, if you just not distract me, I'd be a better householder. If you get out from my heart, then we can concentrate and perform better our household duties. So these yogis and the munis and all the great saintly persons, they are trying to keep you within the heart, and we are requesting you kindly go out from our hearts so that we can concentrate on our household duties. They wanted to do it, they wanted to be good householders, but they could not do it because Krishna didn't agree. And this is the gopis' position. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has advised us that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's the son of Nanda Maharaj, he is to be worshipped along with the transcendental abode of Vrindavan. The most pleasing form of worship of the Lord is that which is performed by the gopis of Vrindavan. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless authority on everything, on pure love of God, Prem Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti, which is the ultimate goal of life for all souls, all persons. These are the opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Prabhupada says there is no more better method of worship than what was being done by the gopis. Because gopis always kept Krishna within their hearts. So when we try to when we first went to Moscow, we were talking about this topic, how to keep Krishna in your heart and how to try to convince him that you want to have relationship and surrender and serve him and develop love and affection for him. There's no one closer to our soul than Krishna, Paramatma, Super Soul. And the devotees were chastising me, and they're telling me, you should not preach like this. This is not proper thing. And I said, but that's what the devotees, the highest devotees are doing. That's what they're preaching to do. That seems to be the most pleasing thing to Krishna. So why wouldn't you suggest the most pleasing thing to Krishna and Krishna's devotees in order to get their mercy? And they said, because these people are not qualified. So then who are they supposed to listen to? The ultimate managing authority. It's like communism, right? It's supposed to be spiritual communism where God is in the center and everybody is equal in the eyes of God and everyone is serving in Daivi Varnashram system is ultimately spiritual communism, right? Everyone's serving according to their nature and their quality and their ability. But in material communism, they put the state in the center. So instead of worshipping God and serving God, you just serve the state. You just serve the people in charge of the state. So this is all different type of totalitarian, materialistic type of consideration. So Prabhupada is speaking to all of the fallen conditioned souls in Kali Yuga in 1974 that no one is really qualified, no karma, no jnana, no yoga, no bhakti, nothing. And Prabhupada is talking about there's no better worship. There's no better way to serve Krishna than what the gopis, what they were doing. Because they always kept Krishna within their hearts. So therefore, they are the most perfect yogis. So the gopis are the most perfect yogis. So you think, are you picturing, gopis doing hatha yoga? Or pranayam? Right? That means bhakti yoga. They are the most perfect yogis because they're keeping Krishna in the heart. And Krishna says, out of all the yogis, those who always are with me, they have great faith, they're worshipping me and loving transcendental service, they are most intimately united with me in yoga, therefore, they are the highest of all. So Prabhupada says, they are perfect. That is perfection. So we should understand what is most pleasing to Krishna and who are those devotees who are able to most please Krishna. Then we can understand what is the perfectional stage, what is most pleasing to Krishna. Now, how do we, from our position, how do we get to that position? So we should understand what is our position, what is our adhikar, and we should understand what is the actual qualification or adhikar of the topmost Vaishnavas, topmost devotees, and then we can see there is beyond heaven and hell difference between their position and our position. When we're assuming, when we're imitating, when we're taking it in a cheating, easy kind of way, then we're just closing the gap by some artificial means, which is actually obviously manufactured, concocted, and is some cheating process. So we need a process which is bona fide and authorized from Krishna, from Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu is Yuga Avatar in the Kali Yuga. Prabhupada said so, therefore you cannot just jump and imitate these devotees or Rupa Goswami or 6 Goswamis. Better gradually, we try to purify ourselves and we try to learn, we try to qualify ourselves in a bona fide, authorized, scientific means and process. It's the easiest way. Do you ever get something and then you get a user's manual and they were thinking we're very smart and you throw the user manual somewhere? Oh. And then you start doing, right? And all of a sudden it's like, you didn't get it exactly right. And then you read the user manual and it says, whatever you do, before you plug this in, right? And it's like, oh, small detail, you know, small detail. Otherwise the whole thing will blow up. Oh, I got this. Let's plug this thing in. Yeah. Warning, whatever you do, don't plug this thing in before you do these 6 steps, you know. But no, we're so smart. We're too smart. So now this is the most subtle science, and we're just going to speculate and manufacture and concoct our own way with no karma, gyan, yoga, or bhakti. And we're going to see Krishna and capture Krishna and go to Krishna. This is a madness. Really, it's a madness. So the Lord and the Lord's devotees are saying, okay, if you want to understand, Krishna said, I'll give you intelligence. I'll help you step by step. But just hear from me. Touch Trinu. Just hear from me. Everything is explained. Prabhupada says anyone who sincerely followed Krishna's instructions, they all achieve perfection. So every single one of them, every single personality to achieve perfection followed exactly Krishna's instructions. And Prabhupada said, these are exacting instructions. Nothing added, nothing subtracted. Right? Do you ever make something like cookies or something and you're following a recipe and you start adding and subtracting stuff? Deva? Just because it's there, you know, it's on the shelf. Just throw that in there, let's see what happens. It's like my sisters. I had 3 sisters, right? They used to try to make stuff, you know? And they'd just be throwing everything in there. And I was like the only brother at that time, you know, so I was like the guy who had to eat what they were making. And it sort of looks all right, you know? But then when you start eating it, you're like, oh. And then I was trying to be like, you know, oh, this is good, you know? This is nice. Maybe follow the instruction next time, you know, it might work out a little better. So we have trouble following because we're so addicted to speculation. We have no attention span to follow anything. Only our mad mind, our own speculation. We're just going in this type of way. That's why we're misunderstanding so many things, and that's why it's not really working properly. That's why there's some delay in the process. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he quoting from the Srimad Bhagavatam, that Stane Stita Shruti Gatam Tano Ban Manobhya And it says that those, now this is Mahaprabhu, his Yuga avatar, he's coming in the Kali Yuga. It's the Lord himself, and he's saying, he's looking at all the patients in the Kali Yuga, and he's saying, my God, we need a miracle. This is going to take a miracle. So he just dialed up a miracle. He dialed it up, and he said, okay, just follow this thing, and then some miraculous thing will happen to you. By the mercy of the Lord, the mercy of the Lord the devotee. Because it's really, what we're trying to do is actually impossible. Right? No karma, no jnana, no yoga, no bhakti, less than Shudra, all demoniac qualities, no sukriti, no qualification. And we're going to try to develop Krishna prema and go back to Goloka Vrindavan. And then we're just going to speculate take it from here and there, and like that's going to work like that. It's a madness. So if you have to very clearly understand it, put faith in it, and then try step by step how to execute it in a way that you can receive mercy from the Lord and the Lord's devotee, who will bless us and shower mercy on us and purify us and give us faith and knowledge and understanding of how to proceed step by step. We just foolishly just deaf, dumb, and blind, groping in the dark, and we're just like, well, we'll figure it out. And concocting and manufacturing and twisting and changing and adding and subtracting from the actual science of how to get a miracle, how to get the mercy necessary. So Mahaprabhu, quoting from Bhagavatam, he said, even those who, even while remaining situated in their established social positions, right, according to Varnashram, if they can just come and hear about Krishna, they hear about Krishna Bhakti, and vibrated that sound vibration from the Lord and the Lord's devotees, if we can come and hear from them, then this will conquer your Lordship. So Krishna is basically saying, if you come and you hear about me from my devotees, and you worship those devotees who I'm using to give you mercy, then you'll conquer me. Then you'll convince me that you're serious. So sometimes, like a big person, they don't just go themselves. They say, okay, let me just send my man there. Right? Let's see how they treat him. Right? If the person, goes there and they know this is this big person's chela. Right? So if they're just disrespectful, they're not taking seriously, they don't know how to treat, they don't understand the connection with that person who sent him there. So he's just going to sit. Did they even know how to behave properly? Otherwise, what? He's supposed to run there and have some meeting with you. So he may just say, okay, let's just send my chela there to test them. So if we take it, understand it properly, we hear nicely, we're trying to accept that power of attorney. The Guru is like a power of attorney. He's acting on behalf of the master, right? Then Krishna is a witness, he's the judge. He's in the heart of everybody. And he's watching. So it says, Krishna says, if you worship my devotees, you serve them nicely, and of course the first service, most important service, is to hear from them. This will be more pleasing, most pleasing to me. So this is the means by which Mahaprabhu is saying that you can capture or conquer Krishna. Because it's a question of getting Krishna's mercy and Krishna's devotees' mercy. If we have any chance at even purifying our consciousness, even getting out of animalistic consciousness, what to speak of developing prema? So everything, right, from the beginning all the way to prema, all of that is based on receiving faith. And faith is transmitted through sound. So when you want, if you have faith in something, someone, you just keeping it to yourself is not going to give that other person the same faith that you have. It's only when you share your faith and explain why and how you develop that faith, then that person may develop faith as well. So all faith is delivered and received through sound vibration. That's why it's saying, if you just, regardless where you are in the Varnashram system, if you just come and hear Hari-katha, Krishna-katha, Krishna Nam from Krishna's devotees, bona fide authorized devotee, who have power of attorney, because that's the only place Krishna is going to show up. That's why authorization, understanding parampara, disciplic succession, that's why it's so important. If you just whitewash that, and you just assume every devotee is disciplic succession because they're talking about Krishna, and that every devotee, that Krishna directly manifesting and speaking there, that's not true. Prabhupada says if you are like Arjuna, then Krishna is directly speaking to you. If you're not like Arjuna, then Krishna only, Prabhupada said, Krishna only speaks to his bona fide authorized representative in parampara. Therefore you have to catch up that parampara. But there's hundreds, thousands of people saying the parampara. Like every corner there's a parampara. Right? It's so cheap. Right? But if nobody really seriously wants Krishna, then why Krishna is going to send them parampara? Right? The point of the parampara, disciplic succession, is Krishna is using them to speak through them to us. If we don't want to hear it, and we're not prepared to hear it, and we're not going to accept it or surrender to those instructions, then you don't need a guru. You don't need purifier medium guru. You just go get some ceremonial guru. Prabhupada said, like fashion statement. Oh, I have guru. I have a spiritual name. I have guru. Right? I have some beads. Yeah, it's cool. I got a guru. So Prabhupada said, you're keeping fashion like a dog. Right? Like people walk around with some fancy dog. I got a guru, you know? So it's just like a fashion statement. So that's why we need to understand everything from an absolute consideration. Otherwise, easily we'll misunderstand, easily we'll get cheated. Bottom line. And those who know it, they're duty bound to speak it, otherwise everyone will be misled. And then when you speak it and try to establish it, then they say, oh, he thinks he's a parampara. Right? So then, because you might think that that's the reason why I'm telling you, then I shouldn't say it? And then nobody says it, and then you have no idea what you're looking for, or who to hear from, or what to expect in that hearing process. You have no idea how to judge it, how to understand it. or how to benefit by that type of association. So Prabhupada says, don't try to change your garments all of a sudden. Now we're going to become gopi, we're going to become, what is it? This Babaji, right? Now they want to wear all this dress, right? Grow your hair out, grow some stool on your head. Stool head. Stool head. Don't try to change your garment all of a sudden. Better remain situated in your own position, but try to hear about the Supreme Lord from authorized, realized soul. Stane, what is it? Stane stita shuddhigatam. Tanu van manobhya. In this way, gradually, you will be able to conquer the Supreme Lord. Ajita means nobody can conquer him. But Krishna is saying, if you follow this seriously, sincerely, only by that way you'll conquer me. So we're not seriously understanding or following that. And we're like, oh, I got Krishna, I'm Krishna conscious, I know about Krishna. Right? Did we conquer Krishna? Right? When we say, you know, first be convinced and convince Krishna. So it's not just like, okay, Krishna, I'm convincing you. It's like, no, follow the process seriously. That will convince him that you're serious. It's not a feeling, it's not an emotion. I feel serious today. I feel convinced today. My mind is making me feel convinced today. Right? Do you feel convinced today? One devotee said, you told me I should surrender to Krishna. And I tried, and it didn't work. And then he said, now what should I do? So I already tried that, didn't work, now what should I do? Like, what other instruction you want me to tell you? It's crazy. So, nobody can conquer Krishna. But if you simply hear sincerely about Krishna, then gradually, you will be able to conquer Krishna. So we just can't say, okay, I'm seriously trying to hear about Krishna right now. And because I'm seriously trying to hear about Krishna right now, that means I've already conquered Krishna. Don't assume everything. Krishna will tell you when he's conquered. Keep going until he tells you he's conquered. Right? That's why it says gradually. So this is the process. This is Krishna-katha, Hari-katha process. Hearing of Krishna is so important. Prabhupada said just chant. Why are you talking about hearing? Prabhupada said just chant. Yeah, but if you can't hear what you're chanting, then what's the point of the chanting? That's why Shravanam is first. Right? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. You catching it? You understand? So, therefore, hearing Krishna-katha is so important. Shrimvatam swa katha Krishna punya shravana kirtana. That will gradually purify us. Krishna is the purest of the pure. By hearing about Krishna, by his mercy, constantly trying to hear about Krishna, then gradually, this material contamination will become purified, will become pious, will develop some sukriti just by that hearing process. So everything from beginning faith all the way to prema will all be understood and received through the hearing process. If we cannot hear from Krishna inside, we can't hear from Krishna outside, we can't hear from Krishna in the Shastra, then Krishna says you're lost. You don't know what to do, what not to do. Are you alright? So? You want to stand up back there? Yeah. He's almost fell asleep. And he's a big guy, so if he goes over, people are gonna get hurt, you know what I mean? It's like a skyscraper. You know? It's like this, you know? I remember one time one devotee was driving me in the van, and he was getting to go up onto the highway, and all these trucks are going by, you know? And I'm chanting, and all of a sudden I look in the mirror, and he's sleeping. These trucks are flying by, the guy's sound asleep. It's like just driving the cars like automatic, like a Tesla, you know? Just like automatic. This was like 20 years ago, you know? And then I said, from this day forward, you can never drive again, you know? He got so mad at me, you know? So Prabhupada says, if you hear about Krishna, from professional men, they're talking of Krishna to make a business, a profession, to maintain the family, professional speaker. Not that kind of hearing. Those who are actually realized. So if you say, well, who's actually realized? Right? Because it's like, okay, who's realized? So one who has been accepted in Guru Krishna Parampara. Right? So you have actually been accepted in Sambandha Gyan, established in that relationship through bona fide acharya in disciplic succession. They've accepted you, and they've trained you, and they've explained to you, and taught you, and helped you to understand and realize it. So how do you know which disciples realized after hearing from self-realized acharya? That's another question. You can't just say, well, because I'm disciple of that Maharaj, automatically I heard and realized everything. So still, how do you know? Many people say, oh, I'm Prabhupada disciple. Even now, I'm Govinda Swami disciple, right? So that's also not enough. So who was ordered and instructed from that acharya to speak, to preach, to take or handle that responsibility? He's the best person to say who is realized and qualified and who is not. It's not that you have to try to figure out, well, who's actually realized, right? The person who's actually qualified and authorized to say who's realized, or who has heard properly and understood properly and who will speak properly, is the previous acharya. That's why I said to some of my god brothers, god sisters, you know, they're all trying to figure me out, you know. And I said, you're not going to figure me out. I act in a way to make it almost impossible for you to figure me out. I do everything in my power to not let you figure it out. So, the only way you're going to understand is by special mercy. So, the previous acharya, Prabhupada said the easiest way to understand who is representing parampara or disciplic succession is, this is Prabhupada's words, find out who the previous Acharya, bona fide authorized guru in disciplic succession, ordered and instructed to take up that role or that responsibility. That's the easiest way to know. Otherwise, how are you going to know? When I wanted to preach and leave Bhubaneswar prematurely, I said to Gurudev, I'm going to go back to America and I'm going to preach and I'm going to share everything that you said. And Gurudev said, just keep hearing. In other words, the training's not complete. Right? It's not like we just say, okay, I got enough, I understand enough. It's like if you go to school to be a brain surgeon, right? And you worked on some dead, bodies, and you read some books, and technically you understand what's going on, right? You don't just open up a shop and say, I'm doing brain surgery now. Right? I got enough info. The persons who actually are expert in the field, they'll still say whether you should take up that responsibility, isn't it? So the persons who know perfectly well, my Gurudev said that bona fide guru, he knows in whose ear this katha is entering. Now you can say, well, I think it's entering my ear. And maybe on some level it is. But is it necessarily that we've understood everything perfectly well? That's gradually it's process. So when the training is complete or sufficient to do the work, then that previous Acharya will order and instruct you to preach or to perform the responsibility as a guru. Not in the dreams, like Santa Claus. He needs something red, It's all just so white. So that's not process. Otherwise, everyone will say, I had a dream. Right? I had a dream. I had a dream. So it's not scientific. Why did he give Bhagavatam? Because he said, these are my incarnations. This is where I'll come, this is what village I'll come from, this is the family I'll be born in, this is what I'll look like, this is the work that I'll do, this is the reason and purpose of that incarnation. It's all exactly explained. Because otherwise, the cheating propensity of the people in the prison house, they'll just say any damn thing. Even they say, oh, we're Bhagavan, right? And then you say, oh, well, where in the Bhagavatam are you mentioned? Bhagavan. Well, I'm sorry, what canto are you in? I'm sorry, I'm not seeing your name there. Please step to the back. Bhagavan, please step to the back. I don't see you. He's got some styrofoam arms, Well, nowadays you're going to get some AI. Forget the styrofoam, Get something from China, something more believable. So all this cheating will be going on, right? The Mayavadis are cheating, changing the Shastra, right, to say how they're Bhagavan. And if people have no understanding of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, they don't understand the science, they don't understand the scriptures, they don't understand the process, then easily they'll be cheated. So that's why all these things are defined specifically as the perfect manual, isn't it? Otherwise, it's like, going to, it's written in another language, right? And then you go to the Google translator, right? So you're getting a foreign language explanation through Google Translator, and now this is going to guide you through the process. You're going to Google translate a Chinese manual on some AI equipment. So this will not help. If you hear from professional persons who are not bona fide, not authorized, I remember many times Gurudev would talk about bona fide, authorized, what is the qualification? And people say, oh, he's just talking about himself. Right? And Gurudev said, no, I'm talking about my Guru. I'm explaining my Guru and how he took that role, how he took that responsibility. This is the process. If you hear from these other people, it will never benefit you. You have to hear from really, realized soul, as compared to the realized soul. Like really realized soul. So there's a distinction between a realized soul and a really realized soul. What's that all about? So yeah, I'll jump ahead a little bit. So then Prabhupada was talking about this hearing process. He's saying that without proper hearing, our intelligence will not be purified, enough. And if it's not purified enough, you'll not be able to understand Krishna, because intelligence is not yet purified. So by hearing about Krishna, he's purest of the pure, then gradually intelligence, mind and senses will become more and more purified. There's a process of purification, first of all. That's why Prabhupada is saying it's a gradual process. Baby's tired, it's late at night. That's a nectar for the mother, They just love the sound of their baby's voices, The fathers are a little more, not quite as sweet, Mothers, they can make any sound. The mother's like, oh, my baby. But for the father, if they're not singing like perfect song, it's like, oh, this is disturbing, Oh, I'm bad. I am really, really bad. I'm trying to get good, I'm trying to get pious. So then we'll finish with this last point. Okay. They're yelling at me. The crowd's getting rowdy, it's getting rough. We get a revolutionist starting out here. It's like simmering revolution. So Prabhupada is saying that Lord Krishna, he originally made Vivasvan his first disciple to understand the science of Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is not, therefore, a speculative thesis for the insignificant mundane scholar, but it is a standard book of knowledge which is coming down from time immemorial. That's Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, this Bhagavad Gita existed in the human society from the time of Maharaj Ikshvaku. And because Bhagavad Gita is as good as the Vedas, because it's being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, this knowledge is known as Aparushaya? Means superhuman. Some of you are thinking you're superhuman. He's thinking he's superhuman. So therefore he can understand everything. And since his Vedic instructions are accepted as they are, without any human interpretation, the Gita must therefore be accepted without any mundane interpretation. So nothing added, nothing subtracted. No concoction, no manufacturing, no type of materialistic, gross or subtle type of manipulation or contamination. The mundane wranglers, the word jugglers, they may speculate or speak on the Gita in their own way, but that is not Bhagavad Gita as it is. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita has to be accepted as it is from the disciplic succession, and it is described herein that the Lord spoke to the sun god spoke to his son Manu, and Manu spoke to his son Ikshvaku. Now Prabhupada says here that the people, they're not able to hear it. The superhuman, transcendental, perfectly spiritual, absolute information, but the people are not able to hear it. People are so impatient. They have no patience that they could not even hear it. So because we're so distracted, we're so disturbed, we have no patience to go into this information. One of my godbrothers said, I like my godbrother Murali Maharaj, but whenever I listen to him, I get such a headache. It's so tedious. It's like, gives me like a headache. So we don't have any liking, any patience, any tolerance, right? It's like beyond subtle, and we're like, just say it. Just say it, come on. Get to your point. So Prabhupada says we are requesting just simply by hearing, by this hearing process, stay within your system, just simply hear. If one simply hears, never mind if he remains in his own position, either as grihasta, sannyasi, brahmachari, it doesn't matter. Just come and let them hear. But he cannot hear patiently. He cannot patiently hear. So it's so simple process. You can't do any other thing. Just simply come and try to hear about Krishna. This is the process to get a miracle, and we have no interest, desire, or patience to be able to hear properly. And when I went to Bhubaneswar, Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj, every day he was talking about hearing, and I was like, we're hearing. Right? Like I heard you just say we're hearing, right? So then I was praying to Krishna, like what? Why is he so much? So then I understood. Then he explained it. Different, more facets, levels, different ways and purposes, and motivations. All the little details that are required to understand how to hear properly. It's beyond subtle. And English language, just hear, right? Okay, I'm hearing. That's a mundane conception. So we have no patience to hear like that. That was the one thing when I first came to preach in Russia, that when I was preaching, from day one in Russia, as long as I was preaching, everyone was sitting there and not moving. And I never experienced that before. Everyone would just go, okay, that's enough, get up, leave, walk away, right? They were just sitting there. Right? So if I'm preaching, I'm thinking maybe they'll start show signs of being tired or disinterested, or right? And they were just like a sponge. Just no matter how much you try to give, they're just taking every bit of it, So this is very nice qualification, because they can sit and they can try to somehow absorb it and somehow try to understand it. And that's a very rare quality, especially in the Kali Yuga, that somebody can sit for so long. Sometimes we would give classes, I don't know, like 6 hours. What, didn't we have a class like that? Many hours, right? I remember when we went to Tallinn, right? When we were preaching in Tallinn, we were just preaching like literally 15 hours a day. They only stopped to take prasadam and maybe use the bathroom, take a shower, right? Otherwise, whole rest of the day, hearing and chanting, hearing and chanting, hearing and chanting. And they were just sitting like, yeah, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. It was like, I never saw that before. So this is a very great opportunity and qualification, because they were open and eager and curious enough to try to consider that information. And because of that, we all got mercy. So it's not just, well, I heard, right? In ISKCON now they say you get 1 hour, right? You're on a clock. You can hear the clock ticking. Like when you're cooking something, you have to put like 1 hour. Then it starts ringing, It's like this. Right? So it's like, look, the speaker has about enough patience to speak 1 hour, and the hearer has about enough patience to hear 1 hour. Right? Then it's done. It's done. There's no interest, no taste in it, isn't it? It's just like out of duty. Okay, Prabhupada said go and hear, I went and heard. One devotee, he was coming to my class and he visibly hated me. Seriously. I was like, wow, this person really doesn't like me at all. I kind of felt bad, And then I said to him, I said, you don't have to come to the class. If you feel that way and it's so painful for you and you really hate me, you don't have to come to the class. I'm trying to get rid of this guy, Because he's sitting right in front of me boy, I hate this guy. And I'm trying to talk about all these fine, subtle points about hearing, and this guy's staring me down, So I'm like, look, you don't have to come, You don't have to listen to me, Nobody forcing you. He said, no, Prabhupada said you have to go to the class, So how much is this guy hearing? Right? What's the quality of his hearing? You follow my point? So there's subtleties involved with it. in order to be able to hear properly. So Prabhupada's saying here that although it's so simple process, still they have no patience. They have no patience to want to hear. And Prabhupada said that that is the qualification observed in me by my Guru Maharaj. So when Prabhupada's Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur accepted Srila Prabhupada, then Prabhupada said he observed in me that this boy, he likes to hear from me. So he can understand, oh, this person is very sincerely eager to hear from spiritual master. And he does not go away. He likes to hear and does not go away. And Prabhupada said that was my qualification. Right, just like Narad Muni when he said, you know, how he became qualified. And he said, I just served the Vaishnavas and I brought them, you know, prasad, right? And then they let me hear Hari-katha, Krishna-katha. So because they gave me that mercy, the next life he became Narada Muni. So Prabhupada's saying, well, what was actually my qualification? What was Prabhupada's qualification to become Prabhupada? Was that he just, Prabhupada says, this boy, he hears from me and he does not go away. And Prabhupada said, in his own voice, Prabhupada said, that was my qualification. And I was also hearing him. I could not follow him. Still, I was, in other words, I couldn't understand what he was saying, but still, I was trying to hear him. And I kept saying, let me try to hear from him. And I used to hear his speaking, not even to understand. Right? So you just love to hear, you're not even necessarily trying to understand. Even I cannot understand what he has spoken. Still not, but I used to just hear him. Therefore, he accepted me. So Prabhupada is saying, this is why my Gurudev accepted me. This is how. This was my qualification. He said nothing else but that. Then the Guru accepts you, and therefore Prabhupada said, this is why hearing is so very important. Because that's how to get mercy. Right? If you're a teacher and the person's like, they hate the subject matter, they hate the teacher, they don't even want to be there, right? How are you going to get mercy? And then you have some student, they don't know anything, but they're so eager and greedy to learn. And they're so open-minded and open-hearted and so humble that I don't yet have this knowledge. So that teacher will spend the whole class trying to help that student. If they're a real teacher, right? If they love teaching, they're looking for that kind of student. The people are saying like, I already know this, I already heard this, I know more than the teacher, or I have no interest in the subject matter. I told you when I went to school, I thought I was going to be a big businessman. So they said you have to take all these business courses. Then I went one day to statistics class. And I literally took the book and I went to the registrar's office and I gave them the book and I said, I want to get out of this business classes. I don't want to be a businessman, you know. And they're like, why are you jumping to this conclusion? I said, because I just went to statistics and economics and accounting and I hate all of those things. I don't like. It's not interesting to me. My brain doesn't work like that. Like maybe some other people's brain works perfectly for that. I'm not the right guy for that, you know. I think I have some other calling, you know. So everybody has a different level of qualification or desire or interest. And so Prabhupada's saying here, especially in Kali Yuga, because what other thing can we do? If the whole process boils down to hearing from self-realized soul, then it's just about, well, what is the quality and quantity of your hearing in that only process, in that best process, in order to receive their mercy and mercy of Mahaprabhu and mercy of Krishna. Prabhupada said, that was my qualification. That's how he got recognized from his spiritual master. That's how and why his spiritual master accepted me. Just simply based on this type of hearing. But Prabhupada says, but the people, they could not even hear. Especially, they're so disturbed. They're so distracted. They're so impatient. They could not hear. So when my Gurudev kept talking about hearing, I can just keep saying why he just keeps talking about hearing, or you can adjust yourself and say, well, maybe there's other layers or facets or ways to hear. So that means that I have to now go deeper to try to understand in a deeper way what are the subtleties of the different distinctions of hearing that Maharaj is talking about. For instance, one day he said that hearing, you should hear for the pleasure of your spiritual master. And to me, I was like, that's a mind-blowing instruction, isn't it? And Gurudev said, everyone's hearing for themselves. I want to understand something, I want to get something, I want to... It's all like selfish and self-centered type of hearing, right? But if you're thinking, because my Gurudev wants to speak, and he's enthusiastic to speak, if I just become very eager to just hear from him for his pleasure, to make him happy, that's a completely different way of considering about hearing, isn't it? Yes. So he was giving these little subtle tips of how to hear properly. If the whole thing, everything from purification to prema is based on hearing, and Prabhupada saying that's why hearing is the first and most important aspect of devotional service, well then, should it be just, well, just hear? That means that there's some subtlety there, some distinctions and some facets at a much deeper level that have to be considered. And my Gurudev sometimes would say the same thing 5 times in a row. And at first I was like, well, didn't he just say that? And then I said, no, he sees every single time he said something, it was a little bit different. And every time you hear, we're also hopefully a little bit different. So maybe that same thing that you heard 100 times, maybe one day will come and you'll be like, oh, I finally got that. I finally understand what is he saying. So this is an interactive, process. Otherwise, I heard, I understood, I can repeat it, done. Now what? Now what to do? So Gurudev said, how about that hearing is eternal? That just like the soul is eternal, the soul is eternally hearing. So it's not that you just hear for some time, get everything, and then stop hearing. And even if you go to the spiritual world, you still need to hear from Krishna and his devotees, how to serve, what to do, how to serve in a better way, pleasing way, right? That means that the hearing process is eternal. So if the whole process and the whole, perfection of being able to serve properly in the most pleasing way, it all boils down to being able to hear and learn from those most perfect devotees. So if we really want to know, then we have to take a humble position. Now, if you don't know something, and you tried everything, and you don't really know it, you bring in somebody who knows the topic. Right? If you're just sitting there like fighting over the keyboard, you already proved you don't know the topic. That's why you called in the specialist. Right? That's why you called in a consultant. Because you saw I can only go so far by my own means. So then you may call in some additional type of help. Right? So we have to realize our qualification and disqualification. Sometimes you hire a consultant, they come in and they analyze your whole business, right? And you want an objective, scientific, honest, specific advice. Analysis and advice. That's what you're paying big dollars for, isn't it? And then they come in, they analyze everything, objectively, professionally, scientifically, and they say, the best thing you can do is fire yourself. Right? So the owner of the business, he asking the consultant to help, and says, if you really want your business to be successful, you have to not be the CEO. So this is very unpalatable. You wanted an honest assessment? You wanted a scientific approach? This is the fact of the matter. So when we go to the Guru, we're not just sitting there, the Guru's saying, you're not sincere enough. And like, I think I'm sincere enough. You have a problem hearing. I'm hearing what you're saying. You're a little bit too argumentative. I'm not arguing with you. So how do you preach to somebody like that? How do you explain anything to them? So that's why you have to know what you know and what you don't know. We should not try to assume other people's expertise. And everybody has some God-given talent and some abilities and some thing that they know and can do. And that's a Varnashram system. Everyone has different nature, different qualities, different ability. So they can all harmoniously work together, perform every function within the society, and offer it up as a devotional service. Whenever they have meetings about Varnashram system, they say, okay, we're going to start a Varnashram community here. How many Brahmanas do we have? And everyone's like, so if 100 people, there's like 100 Brahmanas, And then one guy who's a Shudra, he's a little more humble, he says, I'm a Kshatriya. Okay, I'm not a Brahmana, but I'm a Kshatriya. That's it. We got one Kshatriya and 99 Brahmanas. This is out of touch with reality. So we need some clear thinking to come in and say what is what. So the Guru, you're hiring the Guru as a consultant to give you the best possible advice from a spiritual point of view. Don't ask the Guru what stocks to invest in, right? Or which cryptocurrency to get. He's asking me yesterday, which cryptocurrency should I get? I told him Bitcoin, but anyway, that's another story. Sometimes we try to be a little helpful, you know what I mean? So, just like Pariksha Maharaj achieved perfection just by hearing from Shukadev Goswami. So if the whole process now in Kali Yuga is just to hear from realized souls, then how badly are we eager to find a realized soul to hear from? So if you're saying, Krishna, I accept, Mahaprabhu, I accept that the whole process is I need to just submissively hear from self-realized soul. I understand that's exactly the best, most effective process. And I'm eager for that. I'm ready to do like that. So who is the self-realized souls? That's what it all really boils down to, isn't it? When I joined in ISKCON, my first question was, who's the most advanced guru? Because I understood in any aspect of life, you try to get the best teacher possible. When I went to the university, I saw, they have 4 different professors who are teaching that course. So I went to all the previous students, I said, out of those 4 professors, who's the most advanced, who's the most intelligent, who's the most interesting, who's the most experienced? And then you select that person, right? Because you're spending money, you're spending time, you might as well learn from the best. So somehow or other, Prabhupada and Krishna, they fulfilled my desire to meet my spiritual master, Srila Gaur Govinda Swami. And he is not one of those persons from Nitya Baddha platform who gradually getting purified. He's also Nitya Siddha category. Just like Krishna descends, previous Acharya Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Gaur Govinda Swami also. Born in Vaishnava family, worshipping deities from the birth, memorizing all Shastras as a young child, young man, just doing kirtan, 24-hour kirtan, chanting all of the Vaishnava, bona fide Vaishnava songs, memorizing them. Right? This is not ordinary. It's extraordinary. Somehow I was fortunate enough to meet this personality. And immediately I liked him, even though I just met him. The more he talking, I felt very much like somehow I feel like I know this person. Immediately I felt like my Gurudev understands me. Nobody understands me. Nobody on this planet understands me. Do you ever feel that way? And here I met Gurudev immediately. The way he's talking to me, he immediately understood me. And you only know that when it happens to you. But wouldn't it be nice to meet someone who immediately already understands you? Because Janmi Janmi Prabhu said, that means Guru means life after life, assuming body. So different body, but same personality. So that's why you won't catch it if you're just looking with your eyeballs, because it's different body. But if you hear the sound and you hear the personality and it resonates within your soul, then you can understand it by their mercy. Otherwise they keep themselves hidden. But those who get the mercy from Krishna, Chetu Guru Paramatma. Right? Krishna does not hide himself from his devotees. Those who want to be his devotee. He's not hiding himself. He's revealing himself inside and outside. So without sufficient desire for wanting to surrender to Krishna and understand him and want to please him and do devotional service, Krishna says, I'll just hide myself from you. So Gyanis, Yogis, Karmis, Vikarmis, they cannot understand Krishna. They're just a Tamagun, Rajagun, even Sattvagun. They cannot understand. Krishna says, only by bhakti will I reveal myself to you. So that's why Prabhupada talks about sincerity and seriousness, to want to surrender to Krishna and want to understand Krishna, get Krishna. That's the requirement in order to receive that level of mercy from Krishna internally and externally. And without that, we're deaf, dumb, and blind. We're just groping in the dark, speculating, emotional, sentimental, misunderstanding everything on some false ego platform. That will not help us. That's why it says when you hear from the Guru, you should not be a challenging mood. Prabhupada said you cannot challenge Krishna and know him at the same time. You cannot challenge the Guru and know him at the same time. So if we're sitting there like, what is this person really gonna say that I don't already know? Why he thinks he's somebody, he knows something. That's a pride. And I remember when I first heard from my Guru, I was puffed out. Because I had some gyan. So then I was listening to Gurudev. I said, okay, let's see what that Maharaj has to say. I didn't even want to go to the class. That's how rebellious I was. Because I was fed up with all the sadhus, all the gurus, all the mystics, all the jnanis, fed up. So I don't even want to go. That's why Prabhupada's story is very interesting, because really, he didn't really want to go. He was dragged there. He was actually going there to help his friend more than anything. Because the friend was interested, but he was scared. So he wanted Prabhupada's advice about this personality. So Prabhupada he already saw all these so-called yogis and gurus and sadhus, right? He already saw they're all materialistic and it's not serious. So he didn't really want to go. But because he's a good friend and he had some love and affection for his friend, then he thought, okay, let me go and then I can tell him one way or the other. He wasn't even going for himself. But he was pleasantly surprised because he could understand. This is not ordinary meeting. It's not an ordinary personality. Nobody can speak with that kind of authority. And Prabhupada was very so strong in his ideas and his understanding and his... So he changed. Prabhupada said, he changed my mind. He convinced me. His words were so powerful that whatever I was thinking became a secondary. So this is Guru Tattva. And unless we understand that practically, nobody can talk about it. Gurudev says in the, what is it, the Guru, one of the Guru Bhakti book, that until this happens to you, where Chaitya Guru, Antaryami, Paramatma reveals himself to you, and then assumes the body of the Guru, and then speaks to you through that Guru body, until that happens to you, by their mercy you realize it, nobody can understand it. Mercy required. So we should know that there's nothing we can do on our own, we need mercy. So now it's how serious are we, how eager, greedy are we. Prabhupada talks about the perfect anxiety or perfect anxiousness to understand the absolute truth as requirement for the hearer. It's not out of curiosity, or let's hear some kind of different story. Right? It means a perfect anxiety or anxiousness to understand the absolute truth, to understand Krishna, who and what is Krishna, and how to surrender to Him. That's who can understand it. And then to come to understand that requires tremendous amount of purification. Purification of consciousness, enough to be able to understand transcendentally or spiritually. Because it's a question of Krishna revealing Himself to you. Inside and outside. So we just assume, oh yeah, Krishna's revealing everything to me inside and outside, you know. And not so cheap thing. And Krishna says, only by bhakti will I reveal myself to you. So unless there's sufficient level of bhakti sukriti and desire, Krishna will just keep Himself hidden. And then we'll be under the false ego platform, listening to the stupid mind and senses, speculating, concocting, manufacturing, guessing, groping, kicking, screaming, complaining. Sound familiar? Any questions so far? Yes, sir? You see, you asked today some question, right?
Yes, yes.
So, instead of worrying what your mother and father will think, you should be worrying what is Krishna thinking.
Maharaj, actually it's in continuation to that. More things happened after that.
Really?
Yeah.
So basically, let me catch everybody up with the story. There's a story going on here. Do you want to know the whole story? He told a little fib, a little lie. Right? When it's like a little lie, they call it like a fib. A fib is a lie. Anyway, he told a little lie. He told his mother and father that he was gonna go to Calcutta?
Bhubaneswar.
What? Bhubaneswar?
For office work.
He was going for office work to Bhubaneswar. That should be, if I was a parent, that would have been a red flag right from the beginning, you know what I mean? Right? It's like nobody goes to Bhubaneswar for business and all that.
Actually then Maharaj, what happens is that I also told the name of a particular colleague that he will be with me for the work. And today, while we were
the guy died.
No, he didn't die. So Maharaj, the thing is that my mother got so panicked, she ended up calling. I wasn't picking up her phone, so she got to know that I am not going for office work. Then she ended
She
up.
called the military?
No, no. She called the HR of my company, took the number of that employee whose name I mentioned. She got to know that employee is not in Bhubaneswar with me, and then they got to know that I lied.
You gotta love Indian mothers. I mean, come on.
Maharaj, and then
I mean, you gotta give them credit, man. They are like mama bears, you know?
Maharaj, already due to company, I am under so much of pressure. Plus parents, my brother and my mother are putting extra pressure on me. You come immediately because you have to come immediately because.
Did she try the drama like she's having a heart attack?
No. Actually, my brother said to me on message that mother is really crying a lot. You are actually giving her a lot of sorrow.
Is she taking photos of like drugs that she wants to overdose with?
No, Maharaj. No, Maharaj.
No. It's not
Maharaj,
gotten to that point yet.
Maharaj, there is so much of like anxiety and office already.
So basically, you're doing very nice hearing here tonight, huh?
I don't know what is.
I don't know what you said, Maharaj. My mother and family are freaking out.
Actually, because of this thing that my mother called the employee of my company, things have become even worse for me from the company side.
Oh
So I am under so much of pressure. Like if I go to Pune, then also like I am going to don't know what's going to happen with me. And staying here, Maharaj, they keep on pressurizing me to come back as soon as possible.
Thank God I didn't have a mother like that. My
Maharaj,
mother kicked me out of the house.
Maharaj, the thing is,
I came home and all my things were in the front yard, you know? All of my bags, furniture, bed, everything. Everything was in the front yard. I came back from school. And I said, I was walking by my house and hey, that's my bag. That's my bureau, you know? Well, that's my desk. Why is it in the front yard? Then I came in my house, my mother's sitting there. I said, Mother, why all of my stuff is in the front yard? He said, now it's time to fly. I had such a great mother, right? From spiritual point of view?
Yes.
She's like, no, you don't want to listen, you want to just do whatever you want to do. I have other brothers and sisters here, you're like older guy doing whatever you want to do. Just go do it, whatever, figure out what you have to go figure out.
plus
And she kicked me out. And then I was like, well, I was calling my cousins, like, where am I gonna go? And I said, Mother, I have nowhere to go. She said, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. And I did. So somehow, you know, in the West, like we have other serious problems, but this problem is not so like India or China, Eastern side, right? So strong family attachment. When I joined the military, you know, then I came down with the bag. There was one van waiting for me outside of the house. And my father was reading the newspaper. And he has his glasses on and he looks over the newspaper. And he's like, what is this? Van. I said, oh, Father, I joined the military. And he was like, really? She said, for how long? I said, 5 years. And I just walked out the front door, you know? My father's like, you went back to reading the newspaper. I'll see you in 5 years, you know?
one other thing, the continuation to my thing further is that the company employees are keep on calling me.
Do we need all the
I am
bloody details?
Maharaj, like I am on there is a sword on both sides of my neck, from the family side as well as from the company side. I now really don't know.
Just kick both of them. Just kick both of them.
Maharaj. So what is the
Just kick both of them. If this is what it means, right, that's a hellish situation.
So Gurudev, actually, another thing is that I wanted to come to lecture. Like I spent almost 1 hour searching for the place. Then I came back to Jagannath Mandir. I was like, I'm just trying to.
Your lie did not work. Your mother is so smart, and she is so attached to you that she hired private investigators
No, now
to follow you.
Maharaj, where in the afternoon.
She put one of these tags, right, from, it sees where your bag is going. Right, Indian mothers, right, they have this special tag. So wherever the baggage of their children are moving, they're tracking it on their internal intuition platform. They know all the movement of their children. They're tracking it. And all of a sudden it's like, boop, boop, boop. It's like, he's off the radar. They went off, what do they call it? Off the grid. He's off the grid. He's gone rogue.
Now, Maharaj, because of like.
You're like a big tough guy, man.
Yes, I am. Maharaj,
This is my bodyguard, you know? He's more afraid of his mother than anyone on the planet. How will anyone let you be my bodyguard now?
Maharaj, now please
May
tell
his
me.
mother might call him any second, you know?
No, Maharaj, I don't like. Due to all these things, till today, like things have been in such a chaos. Like it took me more than 1.5 hours to come, and I couldn't figure out the place where it is. Then I went to Jagannath Mandir, and actually, Maharaj, I was like I started crying, and I was like the Ashok Prabhu.
He like escaped from behind the iron curtain, you know?
Then I was telling Ashok Prabhu that I am leaving. I have to go. Then he was telling, no, do one thing, do Aarti Jagannath. And after that, somehow then Mataji, she also lost her way to come here. We both
She
together.
lost what?
She also wanted to come here. She lost the way. She couldn't find the way here.
Also
Then-
lost her way.
She lost her way?
Here to come here. So then we both together. It took us another half an hour to figure out that the place for the class is there. Then it was like.
I feel your pain, man, you know?
It was like. First from family side I have pressures. Then from.
I have one question.
Yes, Maharaj.
What part of my lecture did you hear tonight?
The part of the lecture where you were.
This is, you know what? This is a perfect example, right? Prabhupada's saying people are so distracted, they're so disturbed, right? They're so uninterested, or I have no patience, right? I'm trying to answer his question. He has no patience, right? Yeah. So.
So Maharaj, as soon as when I entered, so all that you were speaking about the importance of hearing. You. Yes, Maharaj.
Sounds like you heard me.
Maharaj, I didn't hear.
You heard me, right?
Yeah, actually. I got hurt.
Thumbs up. You heard me, right?
Maharaj, like ever since coming to Mayapur Dham, things have becoming chaotic for me, Maharaj. I want an end to all of these chaotic things. I want some peace, and I really
It
want.
sounds so complicated.
Maharaj, really, I want help, Maharaj.
Just kick both of them. With all love and affection, kick both of them.
But in family there is like one more issue, Maharaj. It's that today my grandfather, like due to his old age, his toe is getting amputated. Then my mother is saying that
His toe is getting amputated.
What?
His toe is getting chopped off.
because of
His toe?
Yankee.
Yeah.
My
Whose toe?
grandfather. No,
His grandfather's toe?
yes, Maharaj. No, then my mother is saying to me that
The story is like unbelievable.
Maharaj, there is one more catch now.
We gotta save Grandpa's toe.
Maharaj, the thing is that
How Grandpa could go with no toe?
Maharaj, the thing is that my mother is saying, what kind of son you are when the family needs you.
You don't care about your grandfather's toe. You're such a selfish guy, you don't even care about your grandfather's toe.
Like, my mother is saying that already our family is under pressure. And
Everyone's under pressure.
no, and she
Russia's ready to blow up the world.
Maharaj, since morning, my mother has called me more than 15 times. She has said that,
Look, if Russia sends the nukes, right, Grandpa's toes are melting.
Gurudev, actually the thing is that, Gurudev, the thing is that, the thing is that from morning, Maharaj Maharaj, from the afternoon, my mother is telling me,
Even I'm trying to get out of your family right now.
it's so very much complicating now.
I know, that's why I
I'm
want
stuck in all
out of your family immediately.
And then my,
I don't care about your grandfather's story. No disrespect, you know what I mean? A toe's a toe, you know?
Maharaj, from
Better to have them than not to have them.
so,
That's true.
and since afternoon, my mother is telling me that, no, she's telling that already on top of that, sons like
I
you
feel
are
like
giving.
he's channeling his mother right now. He's like a pure medium of his mother, right? I'm just like listening to his mother talking to me right now. How much pressure she's under and Grandpa's toes and at stake tonight. Which toe is it?
What I want to do. No, actually,
I am. Hopefully, it's the smaller one.
no,
If it's the bigger toe, it's more problematic.
the problematic one. Maharaj.
It's problematic. Mother said it's problematic. It's got to be the big toe. It's got to be the big toe. I'm booking tickets right now. Got to save that toe.
They are saying that you have to come, you have to come.
Yes, 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 mother, yes, mother, yes, mother. Just tell them, like in India, you say, just now coming.
Just now coming.
Yeah? So, just now coming.
Okay.
So, we're in the process, right? We're making a plan. So, just now coming. I didn't say exactly when the plane's landing, but I'm just now coming. You can't use the business plan anymore, right?
No.
Maybe you can say something like, you join the military.
On a serious note.
Huh?
On a,
Huh?
He means seriously? I should say that?
Why not? And then they'll turn you into a man, you know? Then you won't be worrying about mommy so much, you know what I mean? Right? You go out and, you know, we'll send you with the Chechen fighters in Russia, you know? You can grow a beard, you know? The bullets will be flying, you'll be like laughing, like. Right? Then you come back, your mother will be like nothing, you know? You won't be afraid of your mother after that. All right, did that solve it? You want to be in the military?
well, I'm not sure. I don't know if it is meant for me. I'm not sure if it's being a military man is meant for. I really don't know, Maharaj. Like I've never done like very serious fights like.
Yeah. Your mother beats you every single time. He's like big guy, right? His mother beats him every single time. She must be really tough lady, huh?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Is she big like you?
I mean, yeah, strong, yes.
She like Kshatriya lady, you know? Anything else you want to say about the story?
Only one thing, like, what's the solution? I want peace from all these chaos which has been happening.
Kick both of them.
Okay, so now, so coming to the company, should I directly tell them that I'm no longer coming?
Yeah. Just say I'm serving in Guru and Krishna's family now. I don't want to be in Maya's family anymore. Right? So then you're being honest with them.
Yes, Maharaj.
You ready?
Yeah, anyways, I wanted to leave that company. I just wanted them to terminate me.
You just needed a confirmation. What about the family? The job is one thing, the mother is another thing.
Yes, it's easier to do this with the job than, I mean, like, I actually want her to understand this. I also want her to take association, like.
Now I understand.
Like, I also
Organized family attachment, Prabhupada said. Tell her to come and join the family with us.
Okay, so should I tell her that you come to Mayapur?
Yeah.
Okay, Maharaj.
Yeah, tell her that you're going to join here, and Maharaj said that you should come and join with us.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So then your mother can be a devotee with us as well.
Yes.
We need strong lady like that. If we can just fix up the bhakti side, that would be perfect, you know? Why not invite them?
Yes, Maharaj.
We're not saying, we want everybody to come.
Yes.
Invite your whole family to come. No problem.
Yes.
They may not want to come, but at least you're inviting them. You're not excluding them.
Yes, Maharaj.
And then let them decide. If they love you that much and they want to be with you that much, then they'll come and join with you.
Yes, Maharaj.
And if they don't, then that means they don't really love you as much as they're saying they love you. Then you'll see what is real love. If they really love you, they'll drop everything and come and be a devotee with you. If they don't really love you, they just want to use you, then it's all materialistic, all selfish. That's the truth. So invite them to come. Will your mother and father come? Probably not, right?
Father definitely not. Mother, a slim chance, maybe. Like.
Hey, we came somehow. Some mercy went on to us to bring us here. So who knows? Maybe she'll get some special mercy. If you invite them, invite her. Maybe Krishna in her heart will give her intelligence and faith that I also must do.
Yes, Maharaj.
That would be great. We'd rather everybody come. But if they don't want to come, that's their choice. Right? And because you don't want to come, that doesn't mean I can't come. If you don't want to be devotee, I want to be devotee.
Yes.
So we have a conflict of interest. Then you have to make a choice. Are you going to try to please your mother? Or do you try to please Krishna, Guru and Krishna? Are we going to be Krishna Das or Maya Das? Everyone has to make that choice. Are we going to serve in Guru and Krishna Samsa or Maya Samsa? Think it up, see what you want to do, make a choice, make a decision. If you want out, then Krishna will give you intelligence and strength how to get you out. All of us had to go through, pass all of these tests. And everyone has different type of tests.
Yes.
Like I said, my mother and father, didn't really bother them. I mean, I'm sure it bothered them, but I walked out the door. So you have to be bold. You have to be determined that nothing and nobody is gonna stop me from getting Krishna, from being devotee, from pleasing my spiritual master and Krishna. Nothing and nobody will get in the way of that. You have to have that kind of firm determination. And that's a question of faith. You cannot just make some mental adjustment. Because right now in our association, you'll be like, yes. And then as soon as you go and your phone rings, it's like, oh, hi, Mom, I'm sorry. I don't want to hurt you. So it's a question of faith. So everyone has to do that work, and everybody has to pass that test. What do you really want? Who are you really trying to please? Who are you really trying to serve? Is it Maya or is Krishna? Then we have to decide, right? I hope you make the right choice.
Yes, Maharaj.
We're here to help you and support you and encourage you and give you some association and advice if you want that.
Yes.
And if not, then that's up to you. We're not going to force you. I invite all my family to come. Some were favorable and most of them were not. That's just, everyone has to make a choice. How old are you now?
I'll be 25 in
What?
This April. Yes.
What age?
25.
25
Oh,
very soon.
I thought he said 35.
No, 25.
Huh? 25?
Yes.
Okay, you still have time. If it was 35, I'd be like, oh my God, you're never going to get out of that situation. You are trapped. You got like shackles on you. Any other question, point? Any last thing? Yeah? Hare Krishna Mataji.
Gurudev, I also want to surrender to you.
I also want to surrender to you.
Do you want to surrender to Krishna?
Yes, Gurudev.
Okay. If you don't want to surrender to Krishna, I don't want you to surrender to me. If you want to surrender to Krishna, then I'll be happy to help you. Then that's nice, that's good. All right, did Krishna convince you?
Yes, Gurudev.
Yeah, that's good. If we're simple, we'll get a simple answer. It's simple for simple-hearted people. If we're too complex, too crooked, too attached, too mental, sentimental, very difficult to hear and accept it. You can't hear Krishna. Krishna is the one who will give you faith. No matter how scary it is, or how challenging it is, or how much difficulty you have to go through, if Krishna gives you intelligence and faith, you can do it. If we don't get that intelligence and faith from Krishna, all of these obstacles and challenges will stop us. Too much fear, too much doubts, too much noise from outside sources will bewilder us, confuse us. So of intelligence and faith is very, very, very important thing, most important thing, from Krishna. If Krishna gives you intelligence and faith, nobody can stop you. The whole world can go against you. Doesn't matter. If Krishna wants to protect you, who will kill you? If Krishna wants to kill you, who will protect you? That's the reality of the consciousness of devotee. Then all your fear and anxiety will leave you. Krishna is protector. So who can hurt you? Otherwise, everybody has so much fear and anxiety. And making all these different considerations based on that, and surely will be misled, will misunderstand. Because some weakness, lack of faith is required. Where's my the bag for this? I'll read one quote of the day. We'll finish with one quote of the day from Srila Govinda Swami. It talks about this point. All right? Am I talking too long?
No.
We have to solve his problem. Mom's a big problem right now. This is his particular challenge right now, right? So Srila Govinda Swami, he was speaking in Hari-katha in Orissa, December 28, 1994, and I was very fortunate to be there. I was on Hari-katha with Gurudev at that time. So Gurudev is saying that the seed of faith, Shraddha, is the mercy of Sadhu Guru. So if you get the mercy of Sadhu Guru, you'll get the seed of faith. Shraddha is the foundation of the Bhakti Kripa. If you have no foundation, your mansion will collapse. Shraddha means strong, unflinching faith in the words of Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. And this is most important thing. So without the mercy of Krishna, Mahaprabhu, and Sadhu, Guru, Vaishnavas, Sadhu, Guru, Shri Guru, we cannot get this kind of faith in the words of Sadhu, Guru, and Shastra. You can't just say, okay, Sadhu, Guru, Shastra, I just have to get faith, put faith, right? No, unless you get the mercy from the Sadhu, Guru, and the Shastra, you cannot put unflinching faith in them on your own. Okay, I'm going to have unflinching faith in Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So, if we can hear, if we get the right of hearing, just like Prabhupada was saying, how he was hearing, then he got special mercy from his Guru. Like Sanjay. He said, I got the special mercy from my Guru. He purified my intelligence, my mind, and my senses. Once he purified that, then I could hear Krishna. So you get the mercy of Sadhu, Guru, Shri Guru, then they will purify by their potency, by their prayers, by their mercy, they'll purify this contaminated material, mind, intelligence, and senses. Once that's cleaned out, some purity, simplicity is there as a result of that Shravanam, hearing from them, then we'll be able to hear and understand Krishna. So Krishna, he's speaking Bhagavatam. He's the speaker of the Shastra. Krishna is speaking through the Guru. Krishna is speaking through previous acharyas. It's all different mediums by which Krishna manifests and speaks to the soul. So unless Krishna reveals himself in those ways of how and where he's manifesting, by the mercy of Krishna, mercy of Shri Guru, you cannot have unflinching faith. You cannot put unflinching faith. You can't hear and understand it on absolute platform. Or different points of consideration will create some misunderstanding or some, what do they call it? some reconciliation,
Apparent contradiction.
right? There'll be some different contradictions of the Shastra, Guru Sadhu Shastra. They may say different things at different times in different ways to different people. So to put all of that together and to make sense of it is not exactly easy, because it looks contrary or different or opposite. So to be able to reconcile all of those things and to see and understand them properly in their right context, that requires tremendous amount of mercy from Krishna and from Shri Guru, bona fide Guru, and from Shastra. That's why professional people and scholars and all of these people, they're studying all of this thing, but they don't understand it. Right? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, right? They don't even, one fraction of the information is not revealed to them. Because Krishna is hiding himself. So if you have a sadhu and you have a guru and you have a shastra, are you going to be able to measure and understand and realize and understand it, understand them, and put unflinching faith in them on your own? It's only by their mercy that they allow us to hear enough from them that we can develop faith in the message and in the medium, and understanding that it's actually coming from Krishna. That's why Prabhupada said, I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to trust Krishna. And Krishna says, I'm in the heart of every living entity. That intelligence and faith is coming from me. So, bona fide Guru is directing the soul to go to Krishna in their own heart, the Chetu Guru, Antaryami, Paramatma, and surrender there and learn how to put faith and be dependent there on that intelligence and faith from Krishna, which he is giving from within the heart of every living entity. And Prabhupada says, bona fide Guru will only speak that point, because that's the essence of getting and understanding every other thing. If Krishna doesn't reveal himself internally, then how are you going to see Krishna through the Shastra? How are you going to hear Krishna through the Shastra? If Krishna is not revealing himself to us internally, how are you going to see and hear Krishna manifesting through the Guru? You just say, oh, maybe he has some experience, he has some knowledge, he has some... You'll just look at it from some kind of external material point of view. Oh, he lived a long life, he went through so many different things, he's just sharing some different opinions and some experiences. He has some cultivated some knowledge along the way. You'll look at it from a materialistic point of view. You would not hear that, no, Krishna is assuming that body, taking over the body of that personality, and Krishna directly speaking to you. So unless we can get Krishna's mercy and Sadhu's, Shri Guru's mercy, we cannot hear Krishna internally or externally. Then how you'll put unflinching faith? Without Krishna, without mercy, unflinching faith in Guru and Krishna, you cannot put unflinching faith in Guru Sadhu Shastra. It's not possible. A stupid mind, some doubt, some question, oh, it doesn't make sense, oh, it's too tedious, oh, it's too contradictory, right? You'll not be able to put unflinching faith in it because you won't understand it properly. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
This is a very deep, serious philosophy. This is basically what is required for Krishna internally to reveal himself to you. That's why it said the Guru Tattva, Shiva Tattva are most difficult Tattva to understand. So Guru Tattva, it's like, these are gurus, we're disciples, they're talking about Krishna. What's so difficult about that? But understanding Guru Tattva in the absolute sense of the word, it means actually understanding how Krishna, what is it? Sakshat Dharitve Nasamasta Shastra. How Krishna directly manifesting and speaking there. So if Krishna is the speaker of the Bhagavatam, and the Gurudev is repeating the Bhagavatam, are we hearing Krishna? Or are we hearing this Maharaj's rendition, interpretation, opinion?
Dreams.
Huh? Dreams. Also dreams. Some dirty old man comes, it's like, who cares about his dreams, you know what I mean? I mean, let's be honest. Let's be real. Even if he has no toe. So the reason why this is being emphasized, because my Gurudev, honestly, no matter what he talked about, no matter which aspect, it always came back to Guru Tattva. Because that's the medium by which Krishna is revealing and rewarding and benefiting us, is through the medium of that Guru. So whatever we're trying to understand, we have to understand how Krishna is delivering that information or that revelation or that faith. If we don't understand the means of the process, then how you can accept it absolutely? You can't look at everything, materially or three-dimensionally and then accept it fourth-dimensionally and absolutely. It doesn't work like that. You have to see and hear and understand by mercy all of those things fourth-dimensionally, then we'll understand absolutely. Because it's coming from another realm. And that's why when Guru is speaking, he's quoting the bona fide authorized authorities as the basis of their faith and realization of how they attained that through bona fide authorized process, to a bona fide authorized acharya, in disciplic succession. All of that has to be substantiated in an authoritative way, in a scientific way, according to Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita as it is. Then we can accept it. Otherwise, why should you accept it? One day you're accepting it, next day you're rejecting it. That's not scientific. That's why this is being emphasized. If Krishna not revealing it in the first place, right? And we don't get mercy of Krishna, we don't get mercy of the Guru, who's coming to give us Krishna, right? What other thing related to spiritual life do you want to talk about? We have no access to any other topic. If we're denying the actual process as the entrance, the keys and the entranceways of that place, and you're denying that, and you're sitting outside and you want to talk about what's inside, how you go? What's the mean? It's meaningless. Someone says, "Okay, here's the keys. Here's how to get in the building. Here's how to get to this location in the building, right?" And then you bypass that. He said, "No, I'll just sit on the outside of this building." Right, and I'll just speculate what's in that building. I'll just read this book, and it'll describe what's in that building. So if you're satisfied with the an academic, how do you say, description of that place, if that's enough for you, then be satisfied. If someone's kind enough to say, look, I saw you sitting outside reading the book about this building, would you care to come with me and we can go in the building and we have all access to show you the whole building? They're like, no, thank you, I'll just speculate on here. It's a madness. I was thinking today about this point about Krishna's so funny, you know. Because now we're on this topic, but earlier today I was thinking about how Prabhupada built a house in which the whole world can live. So then I was trying to understand, like, a little deeper, like, what is that house? Isn't it funny, after some 35, 40 years, I'm like, what actually is that house? You know? Sometimes it takes time, you know? Because otherwise we just say, okay, I'm in the house.
Yeah. Great.
Huh?
Great to be in the house.
Yeah, you're in the house. It's like being in a building and they let you in the building, but all you can do is be on the ground floor. You can't even use the toilet. And you have no access to the elevators. But you're in the building. Right? So now if you're satisfied with that, then you can just walk up and down in the lobby and just be happy. I'm in the building. If that works for you and you're a lobby kind of person and you're happy just being in the building, then so be it. So there's different levels within the house, isn't there? There are different floors. And it becomes more and more exclusive as you go higher. And then based on your position and your qualification and your, responsibilities, then you gain access to more and more within that house, isn't it? And these fools, they think, okay, that house, when you want to go to higher level, you have to leave that house. Some dream told me I should leave that house. Because somehow or other, there's not enough floors in that house. So those floors, those higher floors are there. But we have to become qualified to understand how they're there and what does it take from our side to qualify ourselves to be invited there. And they want to invite, but they're saying you have to be qualified. So if you qualify yourself, we'll be happy to invite you there. It's not automatic. You can't just assume, oh, I'm in the house of bhakti. And there's different people on different floors who are in charge of those floors. So at some point you're happy there, then stay there.
Yes.
If you want more, then we're going to desire more. My Gurudev used to say that you people, you've never been there before. So if someone from there comes here and holds out their hand and says, just take my hand and I'll bring you there, then by their mercy, they'll just bring you there. If you deny that offer, and you think somehow by your intelligence or your strength or your merit that you're going to just somehow or other get to that floor, that's not scientific. It's not authorized. That's why tattva is so important. Because we're trying for that, but we're sincerely trying, but not doing it properly. Now, if we are sincere, Krishna will just direct us to get the right information, how to do it properly. Then I was getting carried away. I was saying, well, maybe this house is so big that everybody is building their own mansion or house within that house. Then I was like, I hope I'm not speculating. I hope I'm not getting carried away here. Because I read that verse and it was talking about everyone is trying to build their own mansion. Right? So it's like, it reminds me of like, you go to like, say, construction school. Right? And everybody gets some tools, everybody gets some materials. Everyone has to like make something, right? So some are like, it's going good, others it's falling, they break, right? It's like everyone's like experimenting or getting their own experience of what works and what doesn't work. It's not like you just get in that house and say the house is already built. Right? So how is it the Prabhupada built the house in which everyone can live? That means we don't have to do anything. We just entered into the house. But here, it's talking about every individual person, based on the foundations of their practice, is able to develop or not develop enough faith to build their mansion that is sustainable and not come crashing down. So if it's based on some material consideration, it's not the real faith, it's just mental constructs, like children putting these blocks, right? Any minute this thing can knock over, right? So if we're doing it some kind of mental constructs, mental adjustments, just trying to get everything lined up, right? That's what Gyanis do. Right? And then Krishna just comes and like kicks it out, you know? Because we're thinking, okay, we can do it without Krishna. And then everyone and everything, nobody's cooperating. It's not working properly. So it's almost like within the house, everyone is either trying to build themselves or they're getting somebody who knows how to build, and then they're teaching, okay, this is how you have to build it. Or you're just over there trying to make your own mansion. That's as far as I got in my analysis so far on the house. Sometimes it says like the house, right? It has like outside yard, right? That's also part of the house. So are we just standing outside in the garden? Have we actually been, like brought into the house? So a lot of consideration, right? Otherwise we just, Prabhupada built the house in which the whole world can live. Okay, we're in the house. It's all done. Everything's achieved already. And then how higher teachings, how is that also within the house? And what floors is that teachings going on? And who is Prabhupada's arrangement for those people to teach those topics? And how many people are interested for those topics? Hardly anybody. So Guru and Krishna are canvassing us, offering us an opportunity to go deeper, to understand much more significantly, and it's up to us whether we can hear that message. I remember, and many of you think about it, when you're on your path, you're in your way, you met some spiritual person, some teacher, some guru, some priest, some rabbi, whatever, right? They gave you spoke some truth to you, gave you some hint of truth. And those words hit you differently than any other words. That's why you accepted it as significant, right? So in that way, Krishna all along has used different people to give us some hint about how to advance ourselves. But we have to be fortunate enough and eager enough to grab the offer, the opportunity. And then we have to be fortunate enough not to squander it. That's the other risk. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Myself and my family is there. And Parishad Mata is here.
No? Where's your Mataji?
Utok khada.
Oh. All right. Okay.
My 2 children is there. Khada? Yeah.
Hare Krishna. The daughter?
Yes, my daughter and my son. Can you make that? My son, my daughter.
Did we meet before? We met you before, right? So you have a nice family.
And I know that Gurudev, I want to say a few words.
You can sit down. No, make yourself comfortable. I'm happy to meet you. Happy to meet you.
Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Gurudev, might be we are have polluted consciousness actually.
Politics?
Yes, the different.
We might have polluted consciousness.
Might?
Yeah.
Might?
Yes, it's sure, but I think
Don't
so.
say might.
Yeah. Yes, it's, of course.
Like Himalayan mountains.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And also we are getting lots of information from our society, like Guru and all.
What society?
My my neighbors, my another people's.
Oh, Maya society.
Yeah, society. Maya society.
Maya
yes.
society.
Maya society. They are basically like those kind of persons.
They're in Maya.
They are offering guru. They are different kind of gurus in
Guru.
the guru. Yes, yes. They are gurus, like gurus. And they always in Maya, and they teaches us that
You should be in Maya.
yes, we are.
You should enjoy your Maya.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And,
You earned your Maya
yeah.
because of your piety.
Yes, Gurudev. And after coming in this place, I found I found
Everything's
that
ruined now.
everything is
finished.
finished now.
I'm sorry.
That's,
I didn't mean to disappoint you.
that's a real gain of us. Like we are talking about the Guru's part actually, Gurudev. So that's our real mercy from Krishna. That he guides me. Lord guides us that he come to me because you are in conditions, situations, Gurudev. So this mercy is from your side. You given me. You actually our family, myself and my wife, both are unable to surrender you. You accept me, Gurudev, as like we are.
Yes.
We are yours, Gurudev.
Krishna sent you here,
Yes, Gurudev.
isn't it?
Yes, Gurudev.
All I tried my best is speak the truth to you,
Yes, Gurudev.
according to Guru Sadhana Shastra.
Yes, Gurudev.
I have faith. If I do that,
Yes.
Krishna in your heart
Yes,
will give you intelligence and faith
yes, Gurudev.
to understand and accept
Yes, Gurudev.
what we're presenting. I cannot convince you. Only Krishna can convince you.
Yes.
So if I'm really working for Krishna,
Yes.
and I'm properly representing Krishna and his instructions,
Yes.
only last thing is Krishna in your heart
Yes.
will wake up your soul
Yes.
and give you intelligence and faith to understand it, what's happening,
Yes.
and to accept it.
Yes.
So it's not coincidence that you're here. You see, and when devotees come, right, Ashutosh came, right? He thinks he's a very smart guy, very educated, he's like scientists. So I said, oh, okay, Krishna, we have one tough guy here now. And only you're going to be able to convince him. So if you give me the right words, then you can convince him. You can convince anybody. So if we really try to depend on Krishna, Krishna will show you.
Yes.
When I heard from my guru, I said, well, this is something completely different. But I want to be 100% sure. So I prayed to Krishna in heart. I said, Krishna, please, tell me absolutely, like with no doubt, whether this is really my guru
Yes.
or not. Everything is nice, everything already is amazing, but the last final confirmation, that has to come from Krishna. So Krishna, he will give you intelligence and faith to understand it. Then I'm praying to Krishna like that, I'm praying to Srila Prabhupada, and then my guru spoke in such a way that only Krishna can make him speak like that. And as soon as I understood that, then I understood. My Gurudev even said, you know, Murali, I know my words are pinching you, but I am not your enemy, Murali. I am your well-wisher, Murali. Do you understand? I have come here for you. And immediately I was like, oh my God, Krishna, it's unbelievable that I met such a Satguru in this lifetime. You cannot speak like that. You cannot have that kind of effect on somebody unless Krishna is directly manifesting and involved in that exchange. So if we're being sincere and we're depending on Krishna, right? That's why Mataji said, you know, I want to surrender to you. I said, I don't want you to surrender to me. I want you to surrender to Krishna. Because that means you want to know what Krishna wants you to do, and you're prepared to accept it. If you want to do like that, then I'm also praying to Krishna, and Krishna can use us how to help you to do it in such a way that Krishna will accept it. You see, people that don't understand Guru Tattva, they think any guru you can offer to him and it will go to Krishna. That's not true. And it's not that any guru can give you Krishna's mercy. That's also not true. Only bona fide authorized guru from Krishna and Krishna Parampara, only Krishna will give mercy through them. Not anybody, not everybody. And whatever service we do to them, only Krishna will accept that seva from those devotees in his disciplic succession, parampara, and nobody else. That's why it's so critical to know the science of this Guru Tattva and parampara and authorization and Paramatma Tattva, all of this Tattva is so critical to understand it. Because otherwise we won't be able to put real faith in it. It will miss it. Gurudev used to say, it's so simple, you might just miss it. So I never asked for this service. This was put onto me. I was just minding my own business, honestly. But because I tried to listen the way that I listen, and because I got mercy from my Guru, and because he allowed me to hear and understand it so deeply, that automatically put responsibility on me. Because it's not meant to just be for yourself. Just like Gurudev knows all of this thing, but he's going out of his way to try to share it with other souls, other people. So Gurudev told me, I want you to try to allow Krishna to speak to you, like Ramananda Roy. Allow Krishna to speak to you and try to help the devotees. So what you heard from me, just repeat exactly the same thing with realization and faith. Don't concoct anything, nothing added, nothing subtracted. Just present it as it is, and then if Krishna, Mahaprabhu, Brahmapara, they agree, then it will manifest. Their mercy will manifest itself. Because I know that, only that's why I'm trying to do this. If I know that science and I'm not qualified or instructed, I will never attempt to try to do this thing, because it will be useless. I don't have any stored knowledge. I'm just what I heard, what I'm hearing, that's exactly, I'm just trying to say that thing. I don't have any good memory. I don't have all this, downloaded knowledge and shlokas, and you can clearly see that in my speaking. I'm not doing some drama. Oh, but some people like that. Right? And you walk real slow. Be very soft and speak very quietly and talk about compassion and love, of course, and the sacrifice of compassion. You know what I mean? Think about that. Let's think about that. Let's meditate. And what was the other word? Meditate and contemplate. Yes, let's meditate and contemplate about the sacrifice of compassion. And everyone say, oh. He's like Jesus. It's Jesus. And then he's dancing like Mahaprabhu, Nityananda. Some people like that. But compassion is not, it's not a sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice of compassion. Compassion means it's the very nature of that personality to be kind and compassionate and trying to help other living entities. It's not a sacrifice. It's just a natural quality and behavior. You know, I'm going to sacrifice and give you some compassion. I'm going to make a special sacrifice for you today. And be compassionate to you. So if you don't know tattva, then you can be easily fooled by this thing, this type of thing. Right? So if we're very sentimental, and we have this conception of who's a sadhu, right? They walk real slow, and they're like blessing all the people as they're going by. To me, want to know what I see when they go by? I see like a vacuum cleaner. Just sucking up like everybody's energy. Going real slow, just sucking everyone's energy out of your body and your mind and your soul and your wallet. Your wallet. It's an unbelievable vacuum cleaner, you know? So that's why we need to depend on Krishna to give us intelligence and faith to understand it. When I met my Gurudev, he was so strong, so bold, so uncompromising, so politically incorrect. I was like, he doesn't care what anybody thinks. I never met anybody that was that bold, who didn't care. Of course, in India, would you say don't care? That's like a bad thing, right? Yeah. So in India, like one time I got in trouble like this. I said, you know, if you want to do like this, I don't care, you know. And the Indian devotee said, well, I care. What a strange, you know. And he was so upset with me because I said I don't care, right? But from Indian point of view, it means you really have no caring, right? No respect, or right. But from where we're from, it just means like it doesn't bother me whether it's this or that. I don't care if it's this or that. So it's a little bit different, kind of. So when I said I don't care, he said, well, I care. So in other words, that if you speak the truth, even if it's unpalatable and it's politically incorrect, the truth will actually set you free. And so everyone I met up to that point, whatever truth they were speaking, there was always some limit. There was always, they would speak some truth, but something would stop them from being able to continue to speak the truth. So I would always end up being disappointed. Like I thought this person would continue to always speak the truth. So when I met Srila Gaur Swami, the only little doubt I had was I'm afraid someday will come where you'll not speak the truth for some reason. Because I was always so disappointed different time. And Guru said, no, I have to speak the truth. Otherwise, how I'll get the mercy of my spiritual master, mercy of Sri Guru Gauranga? It's incumbent upon me to speak the truth, even if it's unpalatable, even if it's, you know, politically incorrect, even if it's pinching or cutting or chopping, however you want to define it, it has to be said. And we try to use sense of humor, and we try different ways to be able to hear it and accept it, even if it's pinching or a little disturbing or shocking sometimes. Because there's all these sensibilities that are there. And unless Krishna helps us, we'll not be able to overcome the tendency to reject that message. So I'm very happy you keep coming back and you brought your family with you. And we're very happy to have you with us. And let's continue our relationship in hearing and chanting together. Right? And then step by step, everything should be done naturally, not forced. Right? Because I don't want yes men. Well, one time I was in Krishna got you, he got you, he got you. One time I was in Bhubaneswar and one person was listening to I don't know. I think I was telling him, like, I was temple president or something. I was just saying we're trying to do this and this. And he said, sir, yes sir, sir, yes sir. Then I thought, like, what's wrong with this man, you know? You know, do you ever meet this type of person?
Yeah.
Right?
No.
You never met someone? Yes or no? I don't know. Did you ever meet someone who's always going, sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir.
In government job.
Yes, good.
Right? You never met these kind of guys? Maybe they don't exist anymore. Maybe this is one species in Orissa. But I was just amazed, like, sometimes I ask devotees a question and they're hesitating to speak. And I said, just speak. But they can't. Because they're calculating what should I say to Maharaj? What can I say to Maharaj? How will he take it? What will be the results of my saying this to Maharaj? And how will he reply to me if I say this to Maharaj? Right? So this whole process is like going on in the head, and they can't just say. Because too much mental, energy, too much mental speculation, too much crookedness. So if you're very simple and somebody asks you, they just say. Right? If someone just says, like a kid, a good boy, not a naughty boy. You have a good boy, right? If you ask him a question, he'll just tell you, right? He's a little tired though. I understand. He wants to go to sleep. I don't blame him. But so somehow or other, this thing had to be a little bit discussed tonight. So I appreciate that you're coming, and Krishna is sending you. And just keep coming. There's no rush. You know what I mean? That's nice that you feel that way, and that you're going in that direction, and I totally understand it, and I totally welcome that. But I want everything to be so real, and so where Krishna convinces you 108%, right? So that takes time, right? So I'm a very patient person. I'm not just trying to collect disciples. I'm trying to get rid of some of these people. To be really honest with you. But they just keep coming back. So I'm like, okay, let's try to help them. Right? No offense to anybody. Everyone's like, am I one of those people? Am I one of those people? I'm just trying to give you the idea that like my whole life is not just how do I just get people to be my disciple. It's a great responsibility and a heavy burden, and it takes a lot of time and energy to honestly help every single person. So I'm not in a rush just to collect people. I just want the right people, right? So I wanted that Krishna's making the arrangement, and everyone should be crystal clear, just like I'm crystal clear who is my spiritual master and how Krishna made that arrangement and how those instructions are absolute and how I have to make that my life and my soul in order to please him, to get his mercy, and to help the other devotees. It will free you from mental speculation. Because once you absolutely know, you don't have to speculate about what you're supposed to do. You'll be free from that. So basically, Krishna already figured it out, and so then we hear that message through the Guru, and you get all your confirmation, let Krishna convince you, and then make those instructions your life and your soul. That's the secret of success in spiritual life. And those instructions are non-different from the spiritual master. Many times when I came to Bhubaneswar, even by Gurudev mercy, I saw, oh, he's pure via medium of Krishna. And he told me to come to Bhubaneswar. And I came to Bhubaneswar. And he teaching me Bhagavatam every day. And many times I went to him, I said, what service can I do? What other service can I do? And Gurudev said, just keep coming and hearing. That's first most important service. Just come and try to hear more and more sincerely, more seriously, chant nicely. You know, I would try to chant very nicely, purify my consciousness before the class, and then try to hear him in a way that's pleasing to him, to get his mercy. That's all. Then later, every time I kept asking, he said, just come to the class, hear nicely. And then I got the point, like this is the most important thing. And Prabhupada says the same thing, if you hear nicely Shravanam, then you can do all the other forms of ninefold processes of bhakti nicely. If you don't do nice Shravanam, you can't do nice Kirtanam. You cannot think about Krishna, you cannot offer proper prayers in the right consciousness in the right way. You cannot do any other seva because we're not doing the first seva properly. So first let's try to perfect the importance of that seva, and then in the due course of time, then Krishna will give more and more indication about, you know, how to do what to do. One step at a time. Sometimes the devotees say, okay, I remember one person, I gave a class, they came to the room and said, okay, I'm fully surrendered to you. And then I have 2 crippled kids in my house, I have no husband, I'm bankrupt. He just told me like about 10 different like serious problems that they had, right? And then they said, Gurudev, tell me what I should do after one class. I said, well, just keep coming and hearing. Or she was ready to dump the whole thing on me, you know? How do I take care of these crippled kids? I don't have any money. The husband left. You know, I get this problem and that problem. You got a lot of problems, right? So I fully surrendered to Krishna. I turned everything over to Guru and Krishna. I'm a soul surrendered unto you. Honestly, that's what you're trying to do. Huh? And I was just like, you know, this is a gradual process. She's like pushing this way, and I'm pushing like back, you know? No, you handle it. No, you handle it. And of course, she didn't come back the next day. She never came back. Thank God I didn't take responsibility, right? Otherwise, we'd be taking care of the crippled kids and she'd be, catching some other guy somewhere, Giving some future progeny to Kali Yuga effort. Anyway, you got my point. So, we're just coming day after day, hear nicely, that's first important service, chant nicely, associate with devotees in a nice way, and then some other thing in future, Krishna may say. Otherwise, I'm not going to just make up like some instructions, Oh, I got to give some instructions.
I only need your blessing and Krishna's blessing. That's why. That's my whole life achievement. That's my whole life achievement. Your blessing and Krishna's blessings and that Vaishnav Seva is my first and last need of my life.
Wonderful. You have a nice father. Yeah. You got a good husband, good father, right? And you got a nice family. Krishna blessed you with a nice family. Is anybody trying to save Grandpa's toes with you? He's still worrying about his toe. He's like, how many pujas do I have to do to not take a reaction for Grandpa's toe being missing, Don't mind us joking, Sometimes joking is not bad, Otherwise, he was under a lot of pressure, right? So now he's laughing, he's joking, right? So he already feels better. And then we'll deal with the mother later, We'll just talk so much that she'll just pass out of exhaustion from her mood of separation. And then he'll be free. Right now, her energy is like going all the way from, where is he, from Pune? Right? You get some Pune energy from Ma, He'll be like sleeping. He'll be like sleeping. The mother will be like dangling like grandfather's toe, It's your fault. I've made a necklace out of it so you never forget, Put it in some gold case, You shall curse it, so never take this thing off the rest of your life, Every time you try to do something, Grandpa's toe will be kicking you, Kicking you on behalf of the mother, It's not nice, it's not a nice situation, what I mean? So, please excuse me for all of my laughing and offenses to Grandpa's toes. Of course, the soul is not the toe. That's a whole nother topic. That's tomorrow's class. We're going to talk about how the soul is not in Grandpa's toe, even if they cut it off. We can still save the soul and get rid of the toe. That's for the higher levels of discussion. You have to be invited into those conversations. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Shri Gornitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Govinda Swami, Srila Gurudeva ki, Samaveda Bhakta Binda ki, Gora Premanande, Hari Hari Bom.
Srila Gurudev ki.
Jai Prabhupada.